Welcome to All Things Internet, a show where we talk about things we see on the internet that usually have to do with the internet, and Emily tries her gosh darnest to fact check and research anything I might find relevant. Welcome back, me. Here I am.
Yay!
The last 2 weeks have been different. Actually, the last 3 weeks have been different, but we're back to our regularly scheduled programming.
For now.
What?
I said for now.
What do you mean for now? Do you have another disaster you're planning or a vacation?
I'm going on vacation.
I am going to New Zealand.
Yeah.
That is correct. In 2 weeks, I am going to New Zealand.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that one.
Yeah.
That one slipped my brain.
Well.
So back to our regularly scheduled programming for 2 weeks. JoJo keeps inviting me on fun adventures. What am I supposed to say? No?
Oh, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Exactly. So sorry, the podcast gets a little weird, but we're here. Emily, how you doing?
I'm doing better. I had a little sleepover with Noopy last night.
Shanoop was an emotional support animal last night. He got to sleep on a bed.
He was trying his gosh darndest.
It's like, I don't know what to do.
Sometimes when I start crying really hard to the point where like I can't breathe, I just see him and he's staring at me with his head kind of cocked to the side, and he's like, "You okay?"
He's like, "What's crying?" I don't see my mom ever do that.
Right. What are these tears coming?
Why are you drooling from your eyes?
Why water come from right there?
So also my dogs are slightly Russian. We don't know why.
We don't know why. It just fits.
But yeah, so Snoop had a sleepover with them last night. So Blaze was an only child because Abby and her dog are still on the East Coast. So Blaze got to hang out with me. We didn't do much.
What'd you do?
I potted around the kitchen making hard-boiled eggs, and he laid on his bed looking at me.
Okay. Did you watch a movie?
No, I was going to, and I just scrolled through TikTok for about a half hour, and he was just conked out. So then we went to bed.
Aw. Well, at least he got his alone time.
He doesn't care.
He doesn't care at all.
You think this dog would care about it, so he does not care.
Yeah, no.
He just wants to be in whatever room he wants to be in, and then that's it.
Yeah. He's a little independent boy.
He's an only child.
But you're not going to be a little independent boy tonight. Because tonight, I take Blaze home with me.
Basically, we're just rotating dogs so M survives.
Yeah, I have never been without a dog since I was 11, maybe 10. I've never been without a dog. And when my childhood dog passed away, I was on vacation when she passed away. And, I mean, my mom called to tell me, but when I came home, even though I knew she had passed away, I was still expecting the little pitter patter because, it's just, it's so routine. So when I walked in the front door, I was like waiting for her little nails to tip tap on the floor. And then nothing. And so I looked at my mom and I was like, I can't do it. And I made her take me to the SPCA, and that's when I got Molly that same day. And then when Molly passed away, I already had Daisy.
So your mom never taught you how to grieve?
No.
So many things are making sense now.
Yeah, my family's form of grieving is to just eat our feelings. So I've been doing that and trying to figure out how to process feelings. And instead of I was going to say, instead of properly processing my feelings, I just took Snoop home. But I feel like I still am processing my feelings while Snoop is there with me. He just is caught in the crossfire. He's like trying to hide. He's trying to hide in the corner. I told Rachel yesterday that because while you were on vacation, Joy and I were held up in your house together. And I'd like wake up and I'd be in a really good mood, and then something would happen that would remind me of Daisy, and I would just start sobbing, and then Snoop would kind of just slowly back away, and then I'd pull him in as tight as I could, and I'd be like, Snoop, I need you. And so Joy was like, Snoop is basically like, I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
He's not used to that. That's not his role. His role is to just follow around and be cute. He's not. Neither of my dogs are emotional support in the slightest.
No. Yeah.
That's how I've trained them.
Yeah. But he was really good. He slept on my lap while I did work last night. And, I let him explore the kitchen a little bit because there's like a little baby gate up. And so I wasn't allowing him in. But then he looked really cute. And so I opened the baby gate. So the thing with
you borrowing my dogs is you're going to ruin them. So
no, it's different places.
This is true.
They won't understand. The bed, though, I don't know if he's going to put that together because I did let him sleep in my bed last night with his head on the pillow under the blanket.
As long as you invite him up, he doesn't get to jump freely.
Yeah, because that's what I would do with Daisy, too.
You
can't come on the couch without being invited. You can't come on the bed without being invited.
There you go.
I'd make him sit and give me a paw. He would try. And then
his little paws
they just kind of come like
flop up a little bit.
An inch off the ground.
Yes.
But yeah, he was really good.
Well, that's the dog update for the day. Dog of the day right now is Blaze Boy. He is encroaching on my space. I have none. That's fine. Yep. That's cool, bro. Don't worry about it. All right. I was on a cruise. It was fantastic. And now we're here.
Oh, tell us about the cruise.
It was a whirlwind. We were exhausted, but had a lot of fun.
Okay.
It was nonstop movement.
Mm-hmm.
JoJo made a rule that we couldn't use the elevator, so we had to use the stairs the whole time.
I would just off the side of the boat. Nope.
It's
bye.
16 stories high, that cruise ship.
Mm-mm.
Our level was deck 12. The casino was on 4. The food was on 5. The other food was on 15. The iFly was on 16. So we were going up and down. We were utterly exhausted that week.
Couldn't you just like sneak on the elevator?
I didn't want to. We were me and Abby were being stubborn about it too.
Okay.
On the last, like when we were getting off the boat, we had all our luggage and we took the elevator. And JoJo was like, your last moment, you're bail. We're like, we looked at her. We hadn't slept in 5 days.
Yeah.
We were like, we're taking the elevator.
Yeah.
And it's down. We were taking it down. So it wasn't that big of a deal.
And you had your luggage.
Yeah. I had 2 duffels and a massive rolling suitcase. I wasn't taking
how
the
much
stairs.
did your suitcase weigh?
65 pounds.
Yeah.
I paid the heavy bag fee.
Yeah, I'm not carrying that down 12 flights of stairs.
Yeah, it was only 50 when we got there, but we bought 15 pounds worth of souvenirs. Emily got a 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch moose. You said you wanted a moose.
I did want a moose.
I got you a moose.
You got
didn't
me a
specify what kind of moose.
That's true.
And Joy wanted salmon, but her present is Abby accidentally took it. So.
Oh, well, she'll get it eventually.
I'll get back.
Yeah. Well, what was your favorite thing you did on the cruise?
Ugh. Ugh.
Oh, wow.
Well, wiping it on my pants.
Uh-huh.
I got a cough on the cruise. No other symptoms, just a cough. My favorite things. We went ziplining and that was a lot of fun. I went to a summer camp for sled dogs. That was a lot of fun. I got decent at iFly, which was I never expected for myself. The casino was dope because we thought it was 18 and older cruise ship casinos, whatever.
Yeah.
So Jojo went down there and started gambling with me. And we had so much fun at the blackjack table.
Yeah.
And we were just like totally vibing. We won a little bit and then walked away. And then later that night she went down by herself and the pit boss came in and he goes, "How old are you?" She's like, 20. And he looked at her, she goes, "Well, 20 tomorrow." And he was like, "You can't be here."
What?
She's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, 21 or older. She goes, "It's a cruise ship."
Yeah.
And he's like, "No, we're in Alaskan waters," which is United States.
Yeah.
He's like, "You gotta go." And she was like, and she had brought so much money to gamble with, and the whole plan was to gamble every night. So that was sad, but the one time we did gamble together was a lot of fun. And then we danced every night, and I didn't sleep, but I had a lot of fun.
Nice. And you said, because I know we talked a little bit on the way home from the airport, you said that no one on the cruise ship was like hounding her.
I mean, everyone came up to her. Like, everyone knew who she was. But there was only the last day, there were 2 middle-aged dudes who were being annoying. But other than that, everyone was just like, "Hey," and they come and take a picture, and then they leave. Or like, because you see the same people over and over again. So if they're nice, like, we would talk to them again and wave at them too.
Yeah.
And if they were annoying, we just didn't, and then they wouldn't do anything back because they already got their picture.
Yeah.
And
that's all they care about.
Everyone was like really quick, done, like, which is nice.
Yeah.
But there was 2 dudes who were just following her around, filming her.
What?
It was weird. That it happens. Like, it happens. I don't know. It might have been happening more, but like,
were they like heckling her?
No, one, we went into a private iFly session, so like all the doors were closed, and they came and they knocked on the doors, and we didn't know they were there for JoJo. We thought like they were like trying to inquire about iFly.
Yeah.
So the workers there opened the door and they could see JoJo, and they're like, "We want to talk to JoJo." And like, we're all just kind of sitting there, and it's like, we can't say no, really. Like, you can't say no. You say no once and someone records that, you're now a dick. So she has to say yes to everybody. So she was like, "Okay, hey," and she walks over. It's JoJo. She's like, she's so nice to everybody she meets. And they were like, "Yeah, can we just get a video of you?" Which is always the most annoying part. But she was like, "Of course," she doesn't care. I think it's annoying. She doesn't care.
Yeah.
And she's like, she does a little video for them, and they're like, "Okay," and then another one for this. And then I was like, "Okay." I walked up. I was like, "We need her." Like, we were supposed to be flying at this point. They were taking forever. So I brought her back in, and we went up to the tunnel, and you can see the tunnel from down below. And then they started creeping their way up the closed steps, and they ended up being an inch away from the tunnel, filming her fly like the entire time. These 2 middle-aged men that were like, And I looked at her, I was like, do you want me to get rid of them? She's like, no, I don't care. She's so used to it.
Yeah.
But the rest of us were like, no, this is weird. 2 middle-aged men are filming you. This is weird.
Yeah, it is really weird.
And she was like, she's like, it happens. Like, JoJo is so used to it. But like people who aren't used to it, like the people that I fly were like, no, this is weird. And they closed, they told them to get out. And we never said that to tell them, like we never told them like, get rid of these guys.
Yeah.
I asked JoJo and she's like, it's fine. It's, it's what comes along with the role.
Oh.
And I was like, but you shouldn't have to put up with it. So those were the only 2 dudes that were.
Did they at least say it was like for their kids?
I don't know.
Okay.
But like it makes sense of like a teenage girl is doing that,
Right.
But you're a middle-aged man, 2 middle-aged men. That's weird.
That is really
weird. That's really weird.
Yeah.
I totally understand teenagers. Like,
yeah.
that is so normal for teenagers to just whip out their phone and film things. Also, it's not creepy when you're a teenager.
Yeah. But it's still invasive.
It's extremely invasive.
Yeah, but creepy.
Obviously. Yeah.
Not so much.
Invasive, I just expect. Creepy is where I draw the line.
Yeah.
So that's
my God. Also, are there any, because I am Joy and I don't know if you watched, of course you watched last week's episode where Joy and I were on. You watched it 3 times because
I don't watch anything.
Well, we talked a little bit about how her house got broken into while she was on this cruise.
Oh yeah.
And I misspoke because I'm not on Snapchat, so I didn't watch her Snapchat. I was just reading articles.
What are you doing?
I know. I have it in my head that Snapchat is from 2010 and it has died.
It's coming
but it's
back.
Apparently coming back.
It's coming back.
And
Follow me on Snapchat. Ball and Ballinger. No one.
No one, just Ball and
and
Ballinger. Obviously, because I follow you. I mean, I do. I just don't ever check it. But
there's some funny things on there.
I really I need to get with the times. I'm gonna do it. But yeah, I was just reading a bunch of articles, and one of the articles that I read that was like probably the most in depth because it happened the morning or like the night before we were recording. And, and so it was very rushed, and there wasn't a lot of information yet. And so last week I said that it looked like they walked through her front door, but apparently
no, they smashed the back door open.
Yeah,
entered. Went up the stairs, grabbed a bunch of bags and whatnots.
Yeah.
And then they left through the front door and left the front door wide open.
But her dogs were not home.
Her dogs were thankfully at their groomers. Their groomers love their dogs. So he's like, I'll take your dogs for the week. So usually one of her family members stays there with the dogs. But this time around, she didn't.
How lucky.
Yeah. And so the house was completely empty, thankfully.
Because were they armed?
Yes, they had a gun.
Ooh, I don't like that.
Yeah, and it's been like a targeted thing in that neighborhood. So the people have busted into houses with people in them, but no one's been hurt. So like these people are just like on a rampage.
Oh my God. Okay, yeah, because that information also wasn't out either. And so Joy and I were saying last week, because from the videos that I did watch on the article, I guess it was when they were opening the front door or like went to go do something else, but like basically they had touched the front door. And then it showed them walking up the steps. And so to me and Joy, we were like, this had to have been like someone that knew that she wasn't home. But if they're targeting the whole neighborhood. Yeah. Because that's like a very prominent, wealthy, celebrity infested neighborhood. Yes. Which is like hilarious because we also said this last week, like they have cameras everywhere.
They were professionals. Every inch of them was covered. You couldn't tell. You could just tell that they were 2 men. You couldn't tell their race, skin tone, like anything.
Yeah.
And they had gloves and masks on. You couldn't say anything.
That is wild. I hope they set up some type of like sting operation.
That's what we all want, but who knows? You don't know where they're going to attack next. You don't know anything.
Yeah, that's wild. Okay, so but like the house was like damaged because I think she said in the Snapchat story that like they like ruined a couple things in the home.
Oh yeah, they just were rampage through it, so they're just like throwing things, trying to find stuff.
That's so sad. Did she have someone like take care of it before she came home?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. That'd be awful to come home to.
Yes.
Like and just see all of that.
And now that she has to have like armed security outside her house at all times now.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, good.
Yes, but like that's just like what it comes to. Because like, what if someone was home?
Oh yeah, that's so pathetic that's like the world we live in. That like literally, I mean, she's still I know she's 20, but like a child has to hire armed security to come live at her house.
Yeah, no one should have to hire armed security for anything.
Oh, that is insane. Well, okay, well yeah, those are the updates. So yeah, they smashed the back door, broke in, and then left it because I thought they walked through the front door, and I was like, that had to have been like we were like speculating, and we were saying like this was very all allegedly. We were totally making this up, but like we were like we wonder if it was someone, because she has so many alarms and cameras and stuff. We were wondering if it was someone that accompanied someone to like a party and might have watched someone enter a code.
No.
But now we know they just.
It seemed very random. It doesn't seem like a personal attack. They didn't take any like JoJo swag. It was just
rude.
I know, right? JoJo was like, honestly, if they had just like come over when I was home and I'm like, I have a gun, show me your stuff, I'd be like, okay, this is worth a lot. Don't take this. It's from Dancing with the Stars. It's only worth sentimental value. And then she's like, I would have just showed him around.
Come with me.
This is my sparkly unicorn.
Oh my God. I wonder what that thing is worth though, because it's like porcelain, right?
No, I don't know.
Could you imagine? They'd have to have like a whole U-Haul ready to get that out.
Yeah, seriously. No, but they were in and out real quick, and it wasn't targeted, which is thankful.
Yeah.
But it's scary nonetheless.
Yeah. Well, and it's nice having everything cleaned up for when she gets home, and then having her dogs back.
Oh yeah.
Because of course I'm obsessed with true crime, and like I follow a bunch of ex-FBI people on TikTok, and the number one thing they say is not having a gun in your home, but having a dog. They say it doesn't even matter the size of the dog, because they say when people break into your home, they're trying to do it very inconspicuously.
Yeah.
So even if you have like a tiny, like if Bobo was home, tiny little yappy dog, if it's alerting, they're not going to break in. And so having her like all her fleet of dogs back, having her dad in the
but
home.
she is glad that the dogs weren't home, because they smashed the back doors, and coyotes are massive in that area. She sees them in her backyard all the time.
Oof.
So she's glad her dogs didn't get out, because she has little tiny dogs.
Yeah.
And she's also glad that a coyote didn't like break in. So,
well, and what's the big one named?
Buddy.
Like,
Buddy is oh God, he is perfect. I love Buddy.
He's perfect, but I could just picture him wandering. Like just being like, doo-doo-doo.
Oh,
like,
no one's home. If there's people home, he sticks with the people.
Yeah.
But if he's by himself, he's just like, oh, I'm gonna go play with my toys.
I just,
he doesn't care about coyotes. He's the size of a coyote, so he doesn't go. He doesn't care. But yeah.
Yeah. Ugh. All right. Well, that's really sad.
I'm always scared of someone breaking into my house and leaving a door and a gate open and my dog's getting out.
You're like take all of
I'm
my
like,
stuff.
seriously, take the computers, take whatever. I'll show you the safe.
Right.
Please close the door on the way out. That is all. Robbers.
Listen here.
Just close the door on the way out for the animals.
Yep.
Take what you want.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. Don't hurt people and don't leave the doors open.
Yep. Oh my God, Blaze would never let anyone get even a toe inside the doorway. Snoop would be like, "Oh, mom is hiding over here."
No, he barks like crazy. I'm not gonna tell you how to. No, I'm not gonna tell you how to persuade my dogs.
Right.
Snoop will bark. And he isn't great when he first meets people.
I slept with my porch door, and I've been having a lot of trouble with my upstairs neighbor, to the point where I am concerned for my safety, because he does not seem very mentally well. And I slept with my porch door open last night because I don't have windows in my apartment. and I don't have AC. So the only way I can get any circulation of air is to sleep with my door open.
I told you to keep your AC unit.
It's print, like I don't want to run it when it's like 55 out. I don't want to run my AC.
Well, it's hot in your apartment. It doesn't matter what the temperature is outside, Emily.
Well, I had Snoop, and I did think to myself, I was like, what would he do if someone broke in? And I know that dog,
he would go into attack mode for
He
sure.
would fight, hard. And
he's a little slow.
Yeah.
But he'd get a good bite or two in. You'd need stitches.
Oh, for sure. It's like the Matrix when he's like bending backwards all slowly, like that Snoop. He like thinks he's all fast, but really it's like he's moving in slow motion. But
Blaze is the quickest animal I've ever seen.
Yeah, I would sleep with my door unlocked, like a welcome sign being like, come in with, if I had Blaze with me.
Blaze is really good with meeting people at first. Like, always. Blaze is really good with people. But there have been a few people that have approached me where he was like, no, mom. And I was even like, no, don't come near me, person. And he's like, he's growled at a few people, and I'm like, he knows. Dogs are really good Daisy was not good at reading people. She just hated everyone, except small women that were quiet and moved very slowly. She liked me. I'm the opposite of that. She respected you. She did. Yeah, I think that was like the second time I came over to your house, as you said to me, because we had done a training session the first time. Second time I came over, you were like, take her off the leash. And I was like, no, you'll die. And you were like, no, it's okay. And then you took her off the leash, and you guys were just like sprinting around the backyard together, like galloping in the field. And I was like, oh, okay. I can read dogs a little bit. Yeah. Anyway. All right. Before we move on, let's check to see if we have a sponsor for today. Sponsor. BetterHelp. BetterHelp is our sponsor for today. It's easy to get caught up in what everyone else needs from you and not what you need for yourself. But when you spend all your time giving to others, it can make you feel stretched thin and burned out. Therapy can give you tools to find the balance in your life so you can keep supporting others, but you're also supporting yourself so you don't leave yourself behind. I've been in therapy for years now, and one of the first things I had to learn was boundaries, that I have to say no to others so that I can say yes to myself, which is never easy, but it's something that has definitely helped me in my life. So if you're thinking of giving therapy a try, give BetterHelp a chance. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Find more balance with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/allthingsinternet today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/allthingsinternet. And we're back.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. I have a big story that's kind of going around the internet right now that
Dun, dun, dun.
I was hoping to talk about.
That I'm on Snapchat?
How did you know? Did you read my notes ahead of time?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh my God.
Also that I'm supposed to be wearing a sling right now for my left shoulder and I'm not.
Oh yeah, what happened with that?
Oh, I'm still supposed to wear it. I'm just like,
I mean, like what happened with your shoulder?
Oh, I tore, I think it's the what's this one?
Delta Airlines.
The muscle on the front of my shoulder that goes from like the middle of my neck down in front and then goes down my arm. I tore that a while ago. And it's just been like, it hurts when I do intense things, but on my normal day-to-day, it didn't hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And then
you spent 5 days with JoJo.
I spent 5 days with JoJo, and I was just sitting at dinner almost in tears from how much in pain I was just sitting. So she taped it one night for me, and that felt really nice. But then I was like, I need to stop. I looked up, like, how do you solve a tear? Because Abby was like, go to the chiropractor. I was like, they just realign your bones.
Bones, yeah.
And they give you a massage, but like,
ooh.
I don't know what that would help. And I looked it up and everything says any torn anything in your shoulder or arm, whatever. It's like, just ice it and heat it and do not use it. Well,
you don't know how to do that.
I don't know how to do that. I'm not the smartest person in the entire world. Like if I'm sitting here and my arm feels fine, no, I'll just go ahead and pick up that 100-gallon thing.
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
Just yesterday, you were like, you want to see how you pick up Snoop? You literally took off your sling to show me how to pick up your 85-pound dog.
Well, you were taking him home. I was going to be like, hey, just in case something happens, he will freak out if you try and pick him out any other way except this way.
Yeah.
I've taught him how to be picked up. But yeah, so I have to wear a sling so I don't use my arm.
Yeah.
The sling doesn't make it feel better. It restricts me from using it.
You need, what's a chastity belt for your shoulder?
A sling.
There you go. We need to put a padlock on it, like on the backward part.
But I figured if I was sitting here for the next hour.
Yeah.
Because it hurts my back to work because I'm like,
oh, yeah.
I'm shifted weird. I'm putting weight weird and it's hurting my right shoulder blade.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I have to wear it.
It's always when you're trying to fix one thing on your body, it injures another.
Yeah,
you're like,
overcompensate.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a mess.
Well, but you're thriving and having fun.
Oh, I'm having the best.
Yeah.
I love doing iFly. I regret nothing except now my shoulder can't be used.
Well, I know yesterday you're like, how am I supposed to edit? Because you have to put like one hand on the mouse and then one, like you are sitting awkwardly.
Yes.
Where we're like hitting different buttons and different things. And so you like put the keyboard down on your lap so that your shoulder could be down. Yes. And you just looked like a praying mantis.
Yeah, it hurt when I'm not going to show you because one, it's a podcast, but two, it hurts to do it. You know, like when you drive with your left arm up on the top of the steering wheel.
Yeah.
That hyperextension of my arm kills.
Yeah.
And I always drive with my left hand.
Yeah.
So I have to wear the sling when I'm driving. And it is not fun.
No. Very restrictive.
It is.
Yep. All right. You ready to hear about our big story of the week?
I thought we just talked about it.
Oh, great. Okay, perfect. Well, thank you for coming.
20-minute episodes. That's where it's at, man.
Oh
Let's do this.
All right. So, Alyx Weiss? I don't know. Okay, hold on. Sorry, my microphone.
What's wrong with it? Why didn't you tell me my hair looked like this?
I liked it.
Okay.
I literally can't. Okay, I fixed my microphone. And
I'm
she's
Snapchatting.
All right, so Alyx, I'm going to go with Weiss. She's
Keep talking.
I can't when you're taking photos of me. Have you heard of her? She's on YouTube. She has almost 2 million followers.
What's her name?
Alyx Weiss, but she goes by ayydubs online.
No.
Like AYYDUBS.
I barely know that I'm online, except that I have Snapchat.
Fair. Oh, at?
Ball and Ballinger. I should actually check to see if that's the right at.
Oh my God, watch. It's actually Ball and Ballinger 1.
No, only TikTok has the 1 involved.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Ball and Ballinger. I was right.
There you go. So yeah, she got a ton of traction because she started off making prank videos.
Ugh, my worst.
I know, I can't stand them, but she does seem like a sweet soul. So like,
there are pranks that are like, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
The stupid ones that are like, I hate the pranks that are clearly set up.
Oh, right. It's
my boyfriend didn't know I was filming in the car, even though you have like 3 cameras positioned in different parts, like in front of his freaking face.
She's wearing like a full-on microphone. And
yes.
She's like, I caught him off guard. Did you?
No, he's wearing a microphone.
Right. So yeah, she got popular with her prank videos, and then she got super popular, like into the millions, because she started a series called Revealing Your Secrets, where users would send in confessions about a certain topic, and then she would read these confessions online.
Fun.
And she made it into a podcast, and it did really well. Like,
I did some stuff like that on Racial Uncensored.
Yeah, I mean, I eat that stuff up. Like, yeah. I love hearing that stuff. Well, on one episode, which was 5-ish months ago, she had guests on who used to be part of, this isn't relevant at all, I just felt the need to mention that they used to be part of the Vlog Squad, but then they kind of like, it was like 2 women, they kind of like broke away from it, but she had them on as guests, and she revealed, basically this whole episode was about how she almost got trapped in a cult. And so she told this story about how excuse me, she was getting a little lonely, so she decided to go on meetup.com or Meetup the app. I'd never heard of it.
I've heard of it only because when I started working on Flip, we were like, what is this app like? And then we were like, okay, there's something called Meetup and blah, blah, blah.
It did sound similar to Flip.
Yeah.
And she basically was looking for a yoga class that she could join, or like,
oh my God, she should have used Flip if it ever launches.
In 2026. It'll get there. We just gotta be positive about it. But yeah, so she was telling this story to these 2 guests about how she really wanted to find like a yoga class to go to, and she found this one in Pasadena, and she said it looked really cool because it was very like granola and naturey, and like in this giant barn, and you know, whatever, and it looked really cool to her. It wasn't just like going to like another yoga studio, you know. This was something a little different. And so, you know, she emailed the people. I don't know how Meetup works, but basically somehow they got her name, email, and phone number. And so they knew she was coming. And, you know, she's driving out there. She turns off the highway. She's going down all these back roads. And finally she gets to this really long dirt road. And she said the second she turned onto that dirt road, she lost cell service.
Ooh, yeah, creepy.
So she was like, that kind of weirded her out a little bit. But she was like, okay, whatever. We're out in the middle of the mountains.
Yeah.
This happens. So she's going down this dirt road, and all she sees is this like barn where she figures is, or like this building, not even a barn, this kind of abandoned building, no lights on, and 1 car outside of it. Okay,
I immediately turn around and leave.
This is literally the start to a horror film.
Yeah, what are you doing?
This is like, you know how when you're watching a horror film and you're watching the main character do something and you're like, you idiot, how could you not, this is that. Thankfully her instincts kicked in.
Yeah.
So she pulled up, she saw this 1 car, she saw this empty abandoned building, no cell service. She was like, that was really weird. But she decided, I mean, this is not part of her instincts, but she decided to get out of the car and just look, because she was like, maybe I'm missing something, maybe I'm in the wrong building, but her GPS was taking her there. So she gets out of the car, and she sees, once she gets out of the car and kind of walks around the side of the building, there is this mega church out back.
Oh
yeah, but still no cars, no lights, nothing. And she said it was like a scene out of a thriller movie where she turns around to go back towards the original.
There's someone standing there.
There's someone standing there. She said it was this like middle-aged woman that was just waving at her and not saying anything. And so she kind of like waved back because, you know, as women we're taught to, you know, be nice, be polite, complacent. And the woman started beckoning her over, like motioning her hand like, come here. And she said it sent a chill down her spine. So she sprinted back to her car. And on the way back to her car, because again, she didn't want to be rude, she's like, I just left something in my car. I got to go find it.
I was about to say, I would have said, 1 second, I have to go get my sunglasses or something. Like, I would have said I had to go get something, get in the car.
And the lady's like, you don't need that here. Yeah. No. So she said as soon as she got in her car, she sped away because it was so creepy. And then when she did a little more digging later, she realized this was a compound. It was a cult. And apparently I was reading a ton of Reddit forums last night about like this whole situation and this whole story. Because the story goes on, it gets better. But a lot of people were saying Pasadena is a hub for cults.
What?
Is it
Pasadena?
Right?
They have a cute little downtown.
Right. I used to work in Pasadena for a year and a half as a nanny, and I would have never put that together.
I used to go party there in college.
Yeah. But I guess I could see it because like when you're in the hills and over the mountain, like you do get these very rural.
Oh, I never went there. I always just went downtown.
Okay. Well, that's probably why. But because both of us kind of stuck to that place.
Yeah.
The only reason I ever like went over the hill into like the mountainy area is because the family that I worked for was very granola, and they had me go to literally a farm, which now that I'm thinking about it was probably a front for a cult. But they had me go to a farm and get like hand milked.
Oh, wow.
Dairy products.
That's nice.
It's very LA.
Yes.
So yeah, she was talking about this on the podcast, and the two guests were basically, shocked. They were asking all the questions. And then she joked. Well, she didn't joke. She said this very seriously. She goes, so after I got home, I ended up getting tracked down. She was like, I got a bunch of emails. I got a bunch of phone calls of them basically saying like, hey, what happened? We were really excited to like meet you, blah, blah, blah. And she said they ended up sending her an email and inviting her to a potluck. And she did say at that moment, she did joke. She was like, that is the number one code word for come to our cult. Yeah. Is like, come to this picnic, come to this potluck. And so she was like, I'm considering going back. Because she goes,
Why?
Because she was like, if I get kidnapped, it's great views. She was like, I'm going to basically take like an undercover camera with me. I'm going to record everything. And she goes, and if it's not a cult, then I still got a good story out of all this. And I got like a fun yoga retreat potluck afternoon. She was like, it's basically a win-win. No, that's horror movie thinking.
That's how you die. That's how you get SA'd. That's how
you go missing.
How you go missing. And like then you get like Stockholm syndrome. Right. And you're actually in the freaking cult.
You're like, no, it's amazing here. Now she's the woman beckoning.
Yes.
The next yoga person.
Beckoning.
Yeah. So she said this and the girls were like, no, you can't do that. Like at first they were joking around and because they thought she was joking. And they were like, oh, haha, yeah, that'd be hilarious.
Like we do things all the time. We're like, for the views?
For the plot.
For the plot. But there are things that we're like, we could, go steal that boat for the views, for the plot. Right. But we would never actually. It's always a joke.
Right. So they were joking with her until they kind of realized she was being serious. And so at the end of the episode, she never really said definitively whether she was going to go back or like go to this potluck or not. But she was like, I'm very strongly considering it. And
it's clearly creepy. If someone misses a yoga class, you can reach out once, be like, hey, we missed you. Let us know, like, if you want to reschedule.
Right.
You don't continuously hound and then invite you to a potluck?
Right. Yeah.
You went from yoga class to potluck. That's weird.
It was next, it's like prayer circle.
Yes,
like,
honestly.
It's very red flaggy.
Yes.
And so, she published this podcast. And after she was done with this podcast, she disappeared. Like straight up went missing for 4.5 months.
Did she post regularly?
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes, because she was a content creator.
Yeah.
So she would, post on Instagram multiple times a day, post on Twitter, because Snapchat wasn't back in right then. But she would post on Twitter multiple times a day. She would post a podcast every week. She would post videos every week. Like she did not miss.
Yeah.
Because anyone that's like in content creating knows like if you miss, it messes up your algorithm. Yeah. Like you don't miss.
I don't miss.
You don't miss. So
that's why you get random All Things Internet episodes when I'm not in town.
Exactly.
You don't miss.
You don't miss because you don't want to like piss off the algorithm gods.
No.
They get mad.
They get mad. Also, sometimes you piss them off and don't realize it. And then sometimes they love you and you have no idea why.
You're like, what? Just tell me what I did.
Tell me and I will keep doing it. It's
right.
Like, no. It's like the government with taxes. No, You just got to pay us, but we're not going to tell you how much. But we'll know when you mess up.
Right. We know exactly what you need to do, but we're not going to tell you.
No. That would be too easy.
Yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, after she basically admitted that she was going to go back to this cult, disappeared for almost 5 months. No trace, nothing on social media, no videos, no posts. No one heard or saw from her again, not even her friends. Like people, because she had 2 million followers.
Yeah.
So people were at this point, like if you went disappearing, people would flood my inbox. Like people started flooding her friends and family's inboxes being like, hey, even like, I mean, I'm sure there were people that had like bad intentions, but there were a lot of people that reached out and were like, hey, we don't care what she's doing. Can you just confirm she's okay?
That she's alive.
Right. Yeah. And so it wasn't until about 2 weeks ago when she popped back up on her.
Wait, so how long was the?
About 4 months and 3 weeks that she was missing.
That's
Nothing.
a long time.
It's a very long time to go from posting at least something every single day to posting this podcast and then boom, dead silence. It was.
Yeah, that's weird.
It was very creepy. And so 2 weeks ago, she ended up posting a video on her channel for the first time in 4.5 months. And she titled it Revealing My Secret. So her series used to be Revealing Your Secrets. And this video was titled Revealing My Secret. Okay. Cute. And in the video, she talks about how she recognizes there have been all of these rumors running around about her joining this cult, but that it's all untrue. So she starts off the video by saying that in the last podcast she posted, she knew that podcast was going to be her last. So she recorded that episode knowing that her podcast was going to be canceled. And she said it was because she was working with a really shady production company. And they had basically told her that that was going to be her last episode because she was fighting with them about finances because she said that they weren't paying her enough. They said that her views weren't good enough. Basically, they were just butting heads.
Yeah.
And the company came to her before that last episode and said, this is going to be your last. And so she purposely admitted in this video that she posted 2 weeks ago that she lied about going to this potluck and rejoining this cult or, visiting the cult because she knew it would freak everyone out when she went dead silent on the internet. Because she said when she
What in the world?
Yeah. She said when she found out that her podcast was canceled, she wanted to take some time to figure out what her next step was. Because that is heartbreaking.
Yeah, of course.
That's I mean, she has her other, she has a vlog channel and she has her regular YouTube videos that she posts and other social media, but this was her baby,
Yeah.
And it's really what got her popular.
Well, in my brain, I'm like, you move the podcast to a different network.
Yeah.
You start posting without a network.
Yeah. She said, though, when she found out that it was going to be canceled, of course, the first thing was she freaked out and she's like, well, what am I going to do? Got really upset, got a little depressed. And then she realized because of her severe reaction to the podcast being canceled, she realized how entangled in social media she was and that it wasn't good for her. And she was like, I realized in that moment I needed to step back and take a break.
Well, it wasn't a bad hobby she had. It was her job.
Right. Could you imagine if a factory worker was like, this isn't good for me and I need to take a step back. Okay, but how are you going to make money?
Yeah, you have to go get another job.
Right.
She's put in your 2 weeks notice, honey.
Right. She was very privileged enough to be able to take this break.
Yeah.
But I do want to say, and this is allegedly in my opinion, but I do want to say because she knew she was going to take that break to take time for her mental health and to step away a little bit and to decompress and figure out what's next.
She started a thing.
She started a rumor so that her views would skyrocket so that she could continue earning money when she was gone.
I mean, that's genius if that's true.
I mean, we say this all the time. From a business stance, genius. Morally,
not at all.
What are you doing?
And I think that's the majority of people on the internet for me is I'm like, business-wise, I appreciate what you just did.
Right.
As a human being, that was trash.
Yes. So because
you're playing with people's emotions. You're making them worry about you when there's no reason to worry about you.
Right.
That's, I think, messed up.
I think so too.
That's why I hate pranks.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. We'll get into a little bit more about her viewers in a minute, but yeah, I truly believe she created all of this traction and tension and all these rumors and whatever so that people would continue commenting on her stuff to boost her income, to continue watching her things to boost her income, to get the internet talking about her to boost her income because she knew she was taking this break.
Or my manager is calling me. I'm busy.
When Abby calls, everyone shut up when manager calls. He can wait.
I already texted him this morning. I have all the deets.
What were you gonna say?
I don't remember.
Okay. That's okay. But yeah, so when she came back for this video, she basically was talking about how she wanted to go out with a bang. She wanted, in her words, she called it a bit. She was like, me lying about this was a bit. It's not a bit. You were panicking.
So she's
people.
Admitting to doing this to make people freak out.
Correct.
That's not fun.
It's not good.
It's not. I don't like playing with people's emotions like that.
Yeah.
I might do a clickbait thingy where I'm like, I'm sad, but I said why I'm sad in the vlog and it's for 2 seconds.
Right.
And
And there's a difference between like you taking, you know, a few moments in your vlog to talk about how you're upset about something and then making that your thumbnail and title, and telling people you're joining a cult and then disappearing.
Yes.
There's a big difference.
There's a huge difference.
Yeah. So, yeah, basically. Oh, and then she said in the video that this was only supposed to be a short break. She was like, max, it was supposed to be a month, but it ended up being about 5 months. And she said that basically the whole so do you want to guess where she was for these 5 months?
Jamaica.
Peru at a healing retreat, aka, again, my opinion, a cult. So that's kind of the ironic thing about all of this. So basically, you know, she said that after her show was canceled that she was lost and needed to figure out what she was doing next, and that she was like seeking clarity about her career, and that she needed to figure out how much of herself she wanted to pour into her social media. And that's when she decided that she wanted to run away to Peru to an unnamed ayahuasca retreat.
Ooh, ayahuasca. That's intense.
It's intense. And like, I really have heard if you do it properly, you're in the right mindset, you have the right guide, you're at the right place, you're safe, whatever, it can be an incredible experience.
Are you just vomiting the whole time?
Mm-hmm.
Not my cup of tea.
Yeah, you take it. So if you don't know what ayahuasca is, it's an indigenous plant for Central and South America, I want to say.
Yeah. And
it used to be used, I mean, it still is used by the indigenous people to like, I don't want to say this wrong. So if I'm saying anything wrong and you know better, please feel free to tell me. But from my understanding is they use it for very like spiritual experiences.
Yeah.
So when you take it, you purge for days.
Usually take it in a form of a tea. They'll make a tea out of it and you drink the tea. And then you basically hallucinate and are tripping and just for days and just constantly vomiting.
And other end too.
And and pooping. And you're supposed to have a guy that's supposed to help you emotionally through it, being like, you're getting rid of all the negativity, feel like what you hate coming out of you.
It's supposed to help you remember things, process trauma.
Yeah. So there's some people who I think it could work with who just need something extreme.
Right.
Who need something extreme to like reset or to purge or to remember or whatever.
Yeah.
They need to be vulnerable and like they're never vulnerable. And so that helps them open up or whatever.
Yeah.
I think there are other ways that you could do that, but that's fine. I'm not, you do you. If
it works for you.
I think a lot of people do it and pretend that they had some sort of experience.
Because it's trendy. It's trendy, right? And it shouldn't be, because it really is a very sacred part of indigenous culture.
Yeah.
And I can never remember, these underprivileged countries are so...
Not yet developed? Developing countries.
I can't remember if that's correct. I'm going to say underprivileged.
Okay.
I
know it's not third world.
Not third world.
Don't say that.
Don't say that one.
No.
But these countries are so desperate for tourism and income because like they just do not have those job and income opportunities provided by their own government.
Yeah. That
they're willing... or like desperate enough, they're pushed to the point where they're literally giving up these very sacred indigenous rituals to Western travelers because they know that these rich white girls will come from all over to come experience this like spiritual thing, and it'll bring them a ton of money.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't blame, obviously, the indigenous people that are running these retreats because they have no other choice. Like, there's literally no jobs for them, and they saw an incredible opportunity, and like, good for them for providing for themselves.
It's such an ick to watch people try and be, what is the spiritual maybe,
like
or in touch like
with their higher self.
Yeah, it is the biggest ick in the entire world to be like, I went on this journey of self-discovery. Like, if there are people who are like, I'm on a journey of self-discovery, I'm going through therapy, I'm like working through a lot of things, love you,
right,
do that,
right.
But when they're like, I took a mushroom and now I'm better than you, right, it's basically what they say. And I'm like,
okay, you went on a trip for 3 days.
Your entire room you think is like boho chic, girl, you got that off Pinterest.
Why you gotta call me out like that?
Girl, my house is boho.
True.
But it's like, it's not I'm not trying to be like, I'm more in touch with everything.
Right. I can see the grass moving.
This basket's cute.
Right. If it's part of your culture, then hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like you grew up surrounded by that. You were taught, you were like immersed in that. Like it is part of who you
this
are.
Is my ancestors taught us this, and like, and I believe it probably does something more for you than it would anyone else, because it is part of your ancestry. It is part of all that. But when like
Bethany from LA,
who is in one post telling you to check out her Amazon link for her new favorite sun hat, and then the next one is showing you a picture of her doing a really bad yoga pose on the top of a mountain, telling you
Ecuador
how healing this trip has been.
Right. Oh my God. It's really
also, I'm not talking about anyone specifically. This is just an ick I have. I am trained to see through social media posts.
Yeah.
I am trained to know how to manipulate viewers.
Right.
And how to get a certain type of audience, which means I can see through all of the aesthetic BS that's out there.
Right.
Which is why I have no aesthetic on my thing, because I don't want to ick myself.
Oh my God.
I'm posting stupid photos that are like unphotoshopped and all this stuff, because I'm like, I can't do it because it gives me the biggest ick to see other people do it.
Yeah.
There are some people who are really good, like what's her name?
Anna X.
Oh, Anna X is a vibe.
Yeah.
She's super cute, and I've met her in person. That is her vibe.
I was about to say, her aesthetic is her.
Yes. She's cute, but she's also not doing the like right. She's just like, she's really cute. She's like, I take really cute photos. I'm really cute. I'll teach you how to be cute. Let's be cute, girl.
Right.
That's her vibe. Someone who's really good at it is what's her Zoella?
I don't
old school YouTuber.
Okay.
She was like one of the, and I feel like she was one of the original who was like, she would be like, okay, time to decorate for fall, and like give people like a sense. And she was very aesthetically pleasing, but not fake.
Oh.
And I think people saw that aesthetically pleasing and were like, I want to be that, but they didn't know how, and they all just started faking it.
Oh.
And everyone's just doing the same thing as everyone else. And I'm like,
I see
you're not
you.
original.
Right.
You're not original.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I feel this. I don't. Okay, here's my thing though. Confession time.
We're not trashing on anyone in specific. This is like just like an ick we have.
No, we're just two friends gabbing.
Just gabbing.
We're gabbing. My mental health is so bad, and I've been on medication for about a year now. So I feel like after a year, it's safe to say I am where I'm supposed to be. Like the medication is not going to change anything at this point, right? Like I'm a year in. I've done therapy, like very intense therapy for 3 years. I've done all the journaling, all the podcast listening, all the, whatever. I've done it all. And I'm still so desperate for my brain not to function the way it does that sometimes when I do read about these retreats, I don't think I would ever do ayahuasca because I'm too scared, because I have read that some people have, and it scares the crap out of me, which is why I don't think I'll ever do like mushrooms or ecstasy or anything. Some people have this gene where the very first time you trip using psychedelics, you are constantly, after that point, caught in a trip.
Yes.
Like, you'll be fine. Like, you'll come down from your initial trip or whatever, and then it'll be like 3 days later, and you'll just be like walking down the street to work, and all of a sudden, boom, you're tripping again.
Yeah.
Because your brain has that gene, and it doesn't know how to switch it off, and I'm terrified of that.
Nope. No, thank you. It doesn't happen with mushrooms or weed. It's like ecstasy and acid and stuff like that.
It's like synthetic stuff?
Yes.
So maybe not ayahuasca then?
I don't know much about ayahuasca. I just heard that you just vomit and poop constantly, and I'm like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
That is not in part of my ancestry. That is not part of my culture.
Right.
I have no need to attempt this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like the synthetic stuff is definitely, that happens with that.
Ooh, okay. So I'll stay away from synthetics. But I do see this. It's the same thing with religion for me. I am very, that sounds so toot my own horn, but like it's true. I'm very well educated in religion and like religious studies, and like almost got a freaking triple major in it because I'm so fascinated by it. But I would never be a part of an organized religion because I've studied it too much, and I've made up my mind. If that's your thing, good.
You can be. I'm all for people believing, being spiritual.
It's just not for me.
Organized religion, I think, can do more harm than good.
For sure.
Believe in a God, a higher power, go for it.
Right.
It's the organized religion is when it gets, it can be damaging.
Yeah, and greedy and like, and we're
Culty.
not. I wasn't gonna say it, but yep.
I was part of an organized religion my whole life, and that's just my experience of it.
Yeah.
I'm all for a higher power. I'm all for a God of whatever you decide.
Right.
And believing like, you know, there's something else after this. Whatever you believe, great. Organized religion is where it gets judgy and
genocidal
and higher than thou type of stuff.
Right.
And there's so much corrupt and hate and things like that. So that is where I stand on that.
And I'm sure, I mean, this is a fact. There are good churches out there. There are good whatever
of course,
out there. but the majority.
Yes.
And like the foundation of it, I'm just like, it's not for me. But I do the same with like these trips that I'm going to say I will not participate in, because I do realize how like damaging it is to like the indigenous populations. Like, I am jealous of it. Like, I do see people in organized religions and like how sure they are and how like the community they have and like how happy they are and how like not scared they are, because they truly believe that someone else is controlling their life and that their life like has a planned destiny and they know what happens after.
There are probably people who are like that. But from my experience going to a Christian college, growing up in the church, so many people are faking that.
Ooh.
Because they think if they aren't, then they are sinning and they're going to go to hell. They think like, I need to feel God. So they tell people they feel God.
Yeah.
They're like, this is where I'm supposed to be. So this is where I'm going to say that I'm happiest.
Right.
And that is my experience of the majority I've seen. Of course, there are people who feel very differently. There are people who are very true to what they say. But I've seen so many people, and I've talked to a lot of people who've gotten away from organized religion, who have said the same thing, where I'm like, I see people like, I'd be in, you know, we'd be doing what is it called? The
chapel, church,
singing it,
ceremony,
worship,
gospel.
We'd be doing worship and people are raising their hands and crying and feeling the spirit, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, am I broken?
Yeah.
That I don't feel this?
Right.
So I would try and close my eyes and raise my hand, and then I'd be like, this seems weird. And like the whole time during worship, I'm not praising God. I'm looking around being like, why are you feeling, like, I literally thought I was broken.
Yeah.
And I've talked to a lot of people who have stepped away from religion, and they're like, I thought the same thing and I was faking it to try and fit in, because I thought, oh my God, I must not be close enough to God if I'm not feeling that.
Oh.
So they would try and do it to feel closer to God.
Yeah.
And then if you watch, what's it called? It's the Australian church that, Hillsong.
Yeah.
They found a formula that would make people feel things with the music. It had nothing to do with God. It had very much to do with just like when certain beats hit, like certain notes, the melody, like they figured out the formula to make people quote unquote feel things.
Right.
And if you go to, I don't know how this, the camera just battery exhausted.
Aww. Okay.
1 second, please. All right. And we're back. Okay. Is there more to the story? We're just got on a rant about.
Well, did you want to finish what you were saying?
I don't remember. I don't remember where we started. I just started talking.
I love it. But
go watch the Hillsong documentary. Okay.
It's so good.
It's so good.
Yeah. But yeah, just to like circle back around, like I do see, whether they're faking it or not, I do see people in organized religion. I do see people do these retreats, and I am so desperate for like clarity and like mental, like good, stable mental health that like I do slightly consider it. And then I'm like, no. And then
that is how cults get people.
Exactly.
If you watch any cult documentary, the people that have gotten out were like, I was in a state where I needed to belong.
Yeah.
I was in a lost space, and I went to this place to like find a new community, to find purpose. Right. And that is how they get you.
Right. Yeah, because they find vulnerable people that need a sense of community and a meaning. Yes. And they give it to them. And then once you're hooked and you've dedicated, like you've basically rewired your life into being completely encompassed by this cult, that's when the bad side starts coming out. Yes. Because now you have nowhere to go.
When you're in too deep.
Yeah, you've been alienated, you've cut people off.
The same thing happens in abusive relationships.
Yes. So, yeah. Anyway, so
and they say they're doing it for your well-being.
It's all through love.
Your mom is a terrible person. She shouldn't treat you like this. You got to cut her out.
Right.
And then it's like, I can't believe you're going to choose your mom over me when I love you and she's mean to you.
Right.
You cut your mom out. And then at the end, they're like, I'm the only person you have left. I'm the only one that loved you.
Right. You're completely dependent on them. Yeah. Oh my God. So she said, just to rewind. So she lied about meeting up with the cult, disappeared for 5 months.
Went to Peru,
did an ayahuasca retreat, was only supposed to be there for a month, stayed for 4.5 months instead. And then when she came back, that's the video we're talking about, is this video where she was revealing her secrets. So in this video, she said the whole thing was a transformative plant-based healing process called Master Plantieta. Sorry if I'm butchering that. And she spent the majority of her video talking about how amazing her life is now, how amazing her mental health is now, how changed she is, how she has a new appreciation for life, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time that she's spewing about how great this place is, she's also unknowingly dropping clues that everyone else can pick up on about how this place is a cult. Like, this is basically a recruitment video for this cult. And she's like trying to talk about how great it is. And the people listening are like, what? Like, she really thinks she's doing it a favor when really everyone's like, you were making it look horrible. So she talked about how they would force them to fast, how they were only allowed to eat twice a day. And it was no sugar, no butter.
Dude, restricting food is one of the ways that cults get people, because you literally go delusional.
You're so malnourished that like you cannot fight, or like you can't think straight.
Correct.
And she said in this video, she was like, we were lucky if we get a piece of chicken. Like, she was basically saying they would deprive them of like protein, of fat, of like basic things you need to maintain your biology. And so, but when she was talking about it, she would say it in a way where she was like, oh, and the fasting, it was amazing. Like, I had never been so clarified before. Like, they purged us of all of these poisonous things like butters and fats and sugars. And like, we would be so...
Girl, you can do that on your own.
Right.
You can change your eating lifestyle anytime you want.
Right. And she'd be like, we'd be so appreciative when we'd get a piece of chicken with our meal. Like, she really thought...
That's Stockholm Syndrome!
Yeah, exactly. So...
Oh, my goodness.
And then... she would talk about how one of the most transformative experiences that she went through her whole 4.5 months on this compound was about how she spent time in the isolation room.
Nope, that has been proven to psychologically damage a human being.
Right. For nonprofit prisons, they're starting to outlaw solitary confinement because it's not improving anything. These people go literally crazy.
Yeah,
they go crazy. So, and while she was doing this video, she was also showing like overlaying pictures and videos that she took while she was there. And when she was showing the isolation room, when she was talking about it, which again, she was trying to make sound like it was this incredible experience and she's never been so clear-minded and, whatever. She starts by showing the outside of the building. And when she goes to open the door to access the isolation room, which just has like a bed and a sink and like, it's basically a jail cell, there's a lock on the outside of the door. A lock. And not on the inside. It's on the outside of the door.
So they locked her in.
She claims they never locked her in, that she didn't even know that lock was there. But why was that lock there? Why was that lock there?
What happened to her?
Right. So she talked about how they pushed her to the physical and mental limits and how she spent so much longer there than expected. And that when she got back, she didn't want, again, this is so culty, she didn't want to see or speak to family or friends because they could never possibly begin to understand what she went through while she was there.
Why did she come home? How did she get out?
I think she can. Okay, my theory is that she needed money. So she's coming back to the internet because she did say at the end of this podcast or like this episode or whatever that she's going to make a docu-series. She's going to go back to Peru, back to this compound, and she's making basically a recruitment video. She's not going to do a docu-series like an expose. She's doing a docu-series to try and help other people.
So she's still in the cult. She just had to come home to get her camera.
Yes, exactly. And she said in this video, she was like, if you're a cameraman or like an audio person or a podcaster, like hit me up. I'm trying to put a crew together. She's literally making a recruitment video for this compound.
That is insane.
Right. So, and like we just said, isolation is the number one thing cults do. So she came back and she was basically saying that because she came back a new person with new energy, she didn't want to deal with the people from her old life.
Her family?
Yeah.
Her best friends?
Yeah. And she said she had two falling outs. Thank you. With two of her very best friends, because when she came back, they met up and she was telling them all about this and they're like, okay, that's great. And they were trying to be supportive, but they were saying, what are you going to do about your platform? Because we've been hounded by people asking if you're okay. And like, can you just post something on Instagram being like, I'm just taking a social media break? And she was like, no, I don't owe them anything. And they got into this big like moral conflict with her friends being like, you built this platform, you made people fall in love with you. Like, you know, whatever, like you have these people that would not do anything for you, but like, you know, that care, like genuinely care about you. Yeah. And you're just going to keep them in the dark. And like, that's messed up. And she was basically like, well, I don't owe them any, like, you know, whatever, higher self. So yeah. So basically she was saying all of this, like it was some magical experience that we should be like impressed with. And everyone who's watching this video is basically like, you're in a cult. You joked about joining a cult. And they're not related, by the way. Yeah. So the cult that she went to in Pasadena and this one are not related. But they were like, you joked about joining a cult, but then you actually joined a cult. Wow. Like, how do you not see this? So, and the real kicker is this video that she posted. She was joined by a friend in this video. So it was like, you know, they were talking with each other. They're both on camera. This friend she met at the retreat. So she was followed back to the US. Maybe we can talk about this another time. A lot of my family, I am not my immediate family, the people I choose to continue to interact with, do not fall into this, but half of my family is in Scientology, like genuinely in a cult. I didn't know that. Oh yeah. I don't speak to them. I cut off communication with them, obviously. But there are these people and they're called watchers. Oh yeah. And when my Scientology side of the family we're called disruptive people because we don't believe in Scientology. When they would call us to like check in or like if a baby was born or someone was dying, they would call us on a monitored line from the Scientology org. And they would have a watcher on the line with them that would sit in the room with them with the second phone and would listen to everything they said. And if the conversation got out of hand or if we tried to say anything like, do you need our help? Or like, you know, whatever, they would immediately hang up the phone. Is this friend not a watcher?
That's a watcher.
Like coming back to the US and in this not expose video, but in this video basically revealing that she's about to do, you know, a propaganda video. She's monitoring what she's saying. And you can see she's steering the conversation to make it look a lot better than it is. This is a watcher.
That's insane. So like, there's nothing we can do. There's nothing anyone can do.
No, nothing we can do. So yeah, basically she said that she's headed back. I think at this point, she's going to head back in 2 days to Peru with a crew. She's going to make a video. A docuseries. We all get to watch this docuseries. And apparently we all get to be enlightened about how...
Do you think people are going to go because she said so?
Absolutely.
That sucks so much.
You don't build a fan base for years, a decade, and then people just stop trusting you. Like there's always going to be like a bunch of people that stop trusting you, but there's always going to be a select few that no matter what you say, no matter what you do, they are diehard fans that are like, you're right. Yeah. And it's really sad.
That sucks.
Yeah. So, and she ended up going on Ethan Klein's H3 podcast. Mm-hmm. And Ethan, he is a no BS dude. Yeah. Like I love that man. And he basically called her out and he said, you know, I watched your episode and why was there a lock on the isolation room? And she got really defensive and she was like, I didn't know that was there. That was never used. Like, I think you're mistaken. It's on the inside of the door. And he like replayed in slow motion the video for her and was like, nope, it's right there on the outside. And she was like, oh, and then changed the subject. And then at one point she said in her video too that she posted with her friend, you know, her watcher, she talked about how on this retreat, there's this man that had a hernia. So he had a hole. She just kept saying he had a hole inside of him. And that's
an ulcer, not a hernia.
I don't know. She just kept saying hernia and hole. And that it was healed on this retreat without modern medicine. And like, so she's saying these lies that are going to capture people. Like if Western medicine isn't working for you, like, and then granted, I am a big believer that like Western medicine is not the be all end all.
No, there's a lot of other stuff that help.
Yeah. But claiming that you can go without surgery and instead go drink some ayahuasca tea and all of a sudden
and
you're
starve
healed.
yourself and be in isolation.
Right. So that's what I'm predicting this docuseries is like a bunch of these like made up stories. Oh, because Ethan Klein did have a medical expert look at the photos because he was basically like, where's your proof? And she did. She came with proof. They're always prepared with a photo of his hole before and his hole after the retreat. And it was closed up. And a medical expert looked at it and was like, those are two different people, two different photos. Like that is not the same ultrasound, not the same person, not the same placement. Like they're like, this is a lie. So whether she was lying herself or it was provided to her.
I'm sure it was provided.
Yeah. But like, it's just going to be a giant like lie propaganda docuseries about how incredible this is. And again, like I do recognize as a fact, there are some medicinal plant retreats out there in these, you know, different cultures and countries that can be very transformative, and they are not cults, and they're amazing and they do great things for people. But this is a cult.
Yes.
They starved you. They isolated you. They took you away from your family.
Yes.
They kept you there longer. They're taking your money, like allegedly. I mean, it's pretty obvious. It's a cult.
Yes. Very much so. All right. Well, I think that's it for today.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what docuseries comes out.
I don't know if I'm going to watch because I don't want to like support it, but like,
you'll see like clips of it on TikTok.
Yeah, I'm very curious.
All right. Well, that's it for today. Please subscribe and follow. I love you guys. Thank you to our sponsor. And anything else?
Love you.
I love you guys.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of All Things Internet. Please make sure to like and follow our podcast on whichever platform you're currently listening to it on. And make sure to follow us at Podcast ATI on Twitter, where you can ask questions and get the latest updates on our show. We love you. Thanks for listening. I'm Rachel Ballinger, and this has been All Things Internet.